Master your network with emotional control. Have you ever felt stuck in a social circle that does nothing to push you forward? Surrounded by people who drain your energy instead of elevating your life? Here's the truth. Your network determines your value, but only those who master their emotions can build a social circle that truly empowers them. Weak men let emotions dictate their decisions. Strong men control their emotions to control the game. Think about the most powerful individuals in history. They never let emotions cloud their judgment. They never surrounded themselves with people who brought them down. Instead, they strategically built networks that propelled them forward. Today, I'll show you exactly how they did it and how you can do the same. You'll learn the mindset shifts, emotional control tactics, and power strategies that will put you in command of your social circle. Because the truth is, you're either shaping your environment or you're being shaped by it. And if you're not in control, someone else is. Master your environment, emotional control, like Napoleon. Power isn't just about intelligence or strength. It's about controlling your environment. And no one understood this better than Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon didn't just conquer nations, he mastered people. He built a network that served him, controlled emotions to stay ahead, and eliminated anyone who threatened his power. Most people fail because they let emotions dictate their decisions and surround themselves with the wrong people. If your circle is weak, you become weak. If you want to rise, you need a network that pushes you forward, not holds you back. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to fully control your emotions so no one can manipulate you. Why strong individuals remain unaffected by emotional games, the secret of strategic detachment to dominate any social setting. If you're ready to stop being controlled and start controlling your environment, hit like and drop a comment. Have you ever had to cut someone off because they were holding you back? Let's talk. Let's get started. When was the last time someone insulted you? Did you react instantly? Did you get defensive? If so, you handed them power on a silver platter. Now imagine responding with absolute silence. Who holds the power now? They seek approval, they crave validation, and worst of all, they allow others to control how they feel. But here's the reality. The moment you depend on someone else's opinion for your self-worth, you give away your power. And that's exactly what weak people do. They adjust their behavior based on how others react. They change their opinions to fit in. They fear rejection so much that they become slaves to the expectations of others. Strong individuals, on the other hand, operate differently. They don't chase approval. They create value and let others come to them. The Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. Epictetus said, "You cannot control the world, but you can control how you respond to it." This is the essence of emotional detachment, learning to remain unaffected by the emotions, opinions, and reactions of others. Why emotional detachment gives you power? You stop reacting emotionally to negativity. People will try to test you, whether it's criticism, insults, or manipulation. If they see you get emotional, they know they have control. But if you stay detached, they lose all leverage over you. You become unpredictable and unshakable. The strongest individuals are those who are difficult to read. When people can't tell what triggers you, they tread carefully around you. You become the center of power. Instead of seeking approval, people start seeking yours. Because when you're unaffected by their validation, they naturally start chasing it. How to practice emotional detachment 1. The pause and observe rule. Whenever someone tries to provoke a reaction from you, pause for 3 seconds before responding. This disrupts your emotional impulse and forces you to engage logically instead of emotionally. 2. Journaling your emotional triggers. At the end of each day, write down moments when you felt emotionally affected by someone else's words or actions. Ask yourself, why did I react this way? Did this situation truly affect me, or did I allow it to? Over time, you'll start seeing patterns, and once you recognize them, you can break free from them. 3. Reframe your perspective. The next time someone tries to get under your skin, remind yourself, their opinion does not define me. Their reaction is their problem, not mine. Emotional detachment is the foundation of power. But if you want to build a high-value social circle, you also need to raise your standards, because the people around you will determine your success or failure. And that's what we're going to talk about next. 2. Set high standards. Only engage with people who add value. You are the sum of the people you surround yourself with. If your circle is filled with weak, unmotivated, or negative people, guess what? You'll adopt their mindset, their habits, and eventually their failures. Most people stay stuck in mediocre social circles because they fear cutting people off. They let guilt, nostalgia, and social pressure keep them tied to relationships that do nothing but drain their energy. But if you want to be strong, if you want to be in control, you must have high standards for the people in your life, because your network either pulls you up or drags you down. There is no in-between. The power of high standards. The Steve Jobs mentality. Take Steve Jobs, for example. He didn't tolerate mediocrity. He wasn't afraid to push people beyond their limits or cut ties with those who couldn't meet his standards. He wasn't concerned with being liked. He didn't care if people thought he was too demanding. Why? Because he understood that if you want to build something great, you cannot afford to surround yourself with the weak. This is why Apple became what it is today, because Jobs demanded the best, and he refused to accept anything less. Why most people fail at setting standards. They fear being alone, so they cling to people who bring nothing but drama, excuses, and stagnation. They value emotions over results. Instead of prioritizing growth, they hold on to relationships out of habit. They think loyalty means keeping everyone around. But loyalty to yourself means choosing people who push you forward, not those who hold you back. How to raise your standards. 1. Audit your social circle. Take a sheet of paper. Write down the names of the people you interact with the most. Ask yourself 2 questions. Does this person make me stronger? And does this person drain my energy? If someone consistently holds you back, distance yourself. 2. Adopt a value-first mindset. Before engaging with someone, ask, what do they bring to the table? If they add nothing but complaints, drama, or emotional baggage, cut them out. 3. Practice controlled exposure. Not everyone needs to be cut off immediately. Instead, gradually reduce your availability. Limit interactions with those who add no value, and focus your energy on high-value individuals. Setting high standards filters out weak people, but the next step is even more important. Mastering your emotions so you never reveal weakness, and that's exactly what we'll cover next. 3. The power of emotional neutrality. Control your reactions. Most people make the mistake of wearing their emotions on their sleeves. They react too quickly, reveal too much, and in doing so, hand over their power without even realizing it. But the strongest individuals, they don't let emotions dictate their actions. They stay unreadable, unshakable, and in control. Think about it. Who commands more respect? The man who gets flustered and defensive, or the one who stays calm, composed, and lets others reveal their own weaknesses? Powerful people don't react emotionally. They observe, they analyze, and when they do respond, every word, every action is calculated to serve their advantage. Why emotional neutrality puts you in control. It makes you unpredictable. When people can't gauge your emotions, they can't manipulate you. It forces others to seek your validation. If you don't react, they start wondering what you're thinking. It gives you time to assess and strategize. Emotional reactions are impulsive. Calculated responses put you ahead. This is why true power doesn't come from reacting. It comes from knowing when to stay silent, when to respond, and when to let others expose themselves first. How to train emotional neutrality. 1. Pause before reacting. The next time someone tries to provoke you, pause for 3 seconds. Observe your emotions. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? What response gives me the upper hand? 2. Master the art of silence. When faced with confrontation, hold eye contact and say nothing for a few seconds before responding. Most people are uncomfortable with silence. They'll rush to fill it, often exposing their true intentions. 3. Reduce your emotional expressions. Start training yourself to react less intensely in everyday situations. Whether it's excitement, anger, or frustration, tone it down and control your delivery. Why this strategy works. When you stop reacting emotionally, people stop seeing you as someone they can easily manipulate. They start adjusting to you. They second-guess their words. They seek your approval instead of the other way around. Because the truth is, weak men argue, strong men observe, and the ones who control their reactions, they control the entire conversation. But here's the thing. Emotional neutrality is just one part of the equation. Because even when you're unreadable, if you're too available, people will take you for granted. The next power move? Becoming scarce. The more people see you, the less they value you. But when you learn to control your presence, you also control how others perceive your worth. And that's exactly what we're diving into next. 4. Control others through scarcity. Be less available. What happens when something is always available? It gets taken for granted. People assume they can have it any time, so they stop valuing it. Now, think about the people who command the most respect. Are they the ones who are always present, always saying yes, always at everyone's disposal? Number. They are the ones who strategically limit access to themselves. Think about a luxury brand. Why do people pay thousands for a handbag or a watch? It's not about the materials, it's about scarcity and perceived exclusivity. The same rule applies to you. If people can access you anytime, they assume you're not valuable. But when you make your presence rare, suddenly they start craving your time. But when your presence is controlled, people start craving your time, your attention, and your approval. The psychology behind scarcity. People desire what they can't easily have. If something is rare, it's perceived as valuable. Being unavailable forces others to respect your time. If you're always there, people assume you have nothing better to do. Distance increases influence. The less people see you, the more they think about you. Robert Greene explains this in Law 16 of the 48 Laws of Power. Use absence to increase respect. When you disappear at the right moment, people realize your importance. They wonder where you are, what you're doing, and when you'll return. And when you do return, you command attention, because now your presence feels special. How to use scarcity to control social dynamics. 1. Reduce your availability. If you always respond immediately, stop. If people expect you to always be around, start pulling back. Let others experience your absence and notice how they react. 2. Only give your time to high-value individuals. Not everyone deserves access to you. If someone isn't adding value to your life, limit their access. 3. Make your presence a privilege, not a given. Instead of always being available for social events, make people earn your time. When you do show up, make it intentional, be seen, make an impact, then leave. Why this strategy works? The more you pull back, the more people chase you. The less you give, the more valuable what you do give becomes. Scarcity creates demand, and when people start craving your presence instead of expecting it, you control the game. But controlling your availability is just the beginning, because if you really want to dominate social interactions, you need to master another powerful tactic, the art of strategic silence. People who talk too much give away their power, but those who know when to speak and when to stay silent become the ones who truly control the room. Let's break it down. 5. The power of strategic silence. Speak less, control more. The more you talk, the more you reveal. The more you reveal, the easier it is to be manipulated. But the most powerful individuals, they don't talk unless it's necessary. They don't rush to fill silences. They make others do the talking, and when they do speak, every word carries weight. This is why those who truly command respect are often the quietest in the room. They observe, they calculate, and when they finally speak, people listen. Why silence is a power? Move. It makes people uncomfortable. Most people can't handle silence, so they rush to fill it, exposing their thoughts, weaknesses, and insecurities. It forces others to value your words. When you don't speak often, people pay attention when you do. It gives you control over conversations. Instead of reacting impulsively, you stay in control and dictate the pace of the interaction. Marcus Aurelius understood this well. As one of Rome's greatest emperors and Stoic philosophers, he practiced restraint in speech. He only spoke when necessary, and when he did, he spoke concisely, delivering wisdom in as few words as possible. His silence wasn't weakness, it was calculated dominance. How to use strategic silence to your advantage. 1. Master the 3-second rule. When someone asks you a question, pause for 3 seconds before responding. This forces you to think before you speak, and makes others perceive your words as more intentional. 2. Let others talk first. The more they talk, the more they reveal. Instead of rushing to respond, ask a question and let them fill the silence. 3. Use silence as a response. Instead of arguing, respond with silence and a steady gaze. It makes people second-guess themselves, creating a psychological advantage. Why this strategy works? Silence creates pressure. It forces people to fill the gap. It makes them wonder what you're thinking. And that mystery? That's power. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful, but the one who speaks the least and makes every word count. That's the person everyone pays attention to. But controlling your words is just one part of controlling your presence. If you truly want to dominate social interactions, you need to master the ultimate mindset shift, the one that will make you immune to social pressure, manipulation, and wasted time. This is the mindset of Memento Mori, remembering that your time is finite. And that's exactly what we're breaking down next. 6. Applying Memento Mori, using mortality to stay in control. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing it was your last day on Earth. Would you spend it arguing with people who don't matter? Would you waste it trying to impress people who don't respect you? Or would you focus on what actually matters? Most people live like they have forever. They hesitate, they delay, they waste time on meaningless relationships and pointless interactions. But the truth? You don't have time. Every second you spend on distractions is a second you'll never get back. The most powerful mindset shift you can have is understanding this. You are running out of time. The power of Memento Mori. It forces you to eliminate what doesn't matter. When you remember that your time is limited, you stop tolerating mediocrity. It makes you immune to social pressure. You no longer care about impressing others. You only focus on what's meaningful. It gives you complete control over your priorities. Instead of reacting to life, you start dictating how your time is spent. The Stoics practiced this religiously. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." Because once you embrace your mortality, you stop wasting time on people and situations that drain you. Weak men chase approval. Strong men move with urgency because they know they don't have forever. How to apply Memento Mori Daily 1. Ask yourself this question. Every morning, if today were my last day, would I be spending it like this? If the answer is no, change something immediately. 2. Cut out meaningless relationships. Stop engaging with people who add no value to your life. If someone drains your energy instead of fueling your growth, walk away. 3. Take action without hesitation. Stop overthinking. If something aligns with your goals and values, do it now. Why this strategy works. When you remember that your time is finite, you stop wasting it on anything that doesn't serve you. You become ruthless with your priorities, and that's how you stay in control. Most people waste years chasing approval, but when you realize that your time is running out, you stop caring about what doesn't matter. And that's when you unlock the final level of power, strategic detachment. The ability to move without emotional baggage, the ability to walk away from anything or anyone without hesitation. And that's exactly what we're breaking down next. But here's the final truth. You can master your emotions, your presence, and your time. But if you still care about what others think, you will never be free. And that's exactly why the final step is learning to embrace one of the most powerful traits of all, being okay with being disliked. 7. Strategic detachment. Emotional control as a power move. True strength isn't about never feeling emotions. It's about never letting emotions control you. The most powerful individuals in history weren't emotionless robots. They felt everything, but they mastered the ability to separate their feelings from their actions. They knew when to use emotions as a weapon and when to detach completely. And this is where most people fail. They let their emotions dictate their decisions. They react impulsively. They get drawn into pointless conflicts because they can't separate what they feel from what they should do. The psychology of strategic detachment. It makes you untouchable. If people can't provoke you, they can't control you. It allows you to see the bigger picture. Instead of reacting emotionally, you analyze the situation and respond strategically. It shifts power in your favor. When you control your emotions while others lose control, you dictate the outcome. The most powerful individuals don't just control their own emotions, they use other people's emotions against them. They know that most people are reactive, driven by impulses, and easily manipulated, and because of that, they stay one step ahead. They don't fall into emotional traps. Instead, they ask themselves one simple question: what does this person gain by making me react? How to practice strategic detachment. 1. Identify emotional triggers in others. When someone tries to provoke you, ask yourself, what do they want me to do? Instead of reacting, pause and analyze their motivation. 2. Control your responses in high-stress situations. When you feel anger or frustration rising, slow down your breathing and delay your reaction. The longer you stay calm, the more uncomfortable the other person becomes. 3. Use emotional detachment to gain leverage. When others are reacting emotionally, you remain logical and composed. This gives you the upper hand in negotiations, confrontations, and decision-making. Why this strategy works. The second someone realizes they can't get a reaction from you, they lose power. The moment you start controlling your emotions, instead of letting them control you, you become dangerous. Strategic detachment isn't about being cold. It's about being calculated. It's about staying in control when everyone else is losing theirs. At this point, you have everything you need to build a social circle that elevates you. You know how to control your emotions, position yourself as high value, and command respect effortlessly. But knowledge alone isn't enough. The real power lies in execution. And that's exactly what we're wrapping up with. Your action plan to implement these 7 power moves in your life starting today. At this point, you are no longer the same person who started watching this video. You now have the blueprint to build a social circle that elevates your life, to control your emotions, and to command respect effortlessly. Let's quickly go over the 7 power strategies you need to implement. Master emotional control. Stop letting feelings dictate your actions. Learn to detach and observe before reacting. Set high standards. Surround yourself only with people who push you forward, not those who hold you back. Practice emotional neutrality. Never let others read your emotions. The less they know, the more they respect you. Use scarcity to increase your value. Be less available. Make your presence a privilege, not a given. Leverage strategic silence. The more you listen, the more power you gain. Speak less, but when you do, make it count. Apply Memento Mori. Stop wasting time on meaningless interactions. Every moment matters. Use it wisely. Master strategic detachment. Never let people control you emotionally. The one who stays calm controls the game. Pause for a second. Grab your phone or a pen. Write down one habit you will change today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Right now. Drop it in the comments. Commit to it. Because if you don't act now, you never will. Watch how it changes the way people treat you. Watch how it shifts the power in your social interactions. And if you are serious about mastering social dominance, hit like, drop a comment, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Let's build a network of men who refuse to be controlled by emotions, by weak connections, or by social expectations. This is your wake-up call. No more waiting, no more excuses. Take control, starting now. And if you are ready to go even deeper into mastering social power, watch the next video now, because this is just the beginning.